Afternoon, everybody. How are you all doing? Welcome back to another New York. Afternoon, John. Afternoon, Steve. Joaquin, Alex, John, Tom, even. Steve. Another Steve. Okay, where are you from? Where are you? What? Evening? Oh, Tom is in the evening, yeah. If he's in the evening, I'm assuming he's possibly in Australia. Daniel, Brisbane, Australia. There you go. Ta-da. Afternoon, Diamond. Afternoon, Fletch. Afternoon, Gumani. Dirige, Adam, welcome aboard. I fixed it. Fixed everything that was broken this morning. Afternoon, Brian. So, yeah, I had that issue with the indicator if you were here in the live room this morning. The new one. And I fixed it. So it's all working. So this is ready to go now, pretty much. I still want to try and get the day of the week in here, but the day of the week indicator's proving a little troublesome to get integrated and actually working properly. So basically, the new indicator will have everything incorporated into it that you see there. So trade history automatically displayed on the chart, symbol and the time frame, break-even line, and also the amount of pips, propulsion gaps, support resistance, and candle time, countdown timer. You can also now, I've amended it so you can choose which corner you want the symbol and time frame and note on, and all the colors and everything. Obviously strength for the candle, propulsion candles, which I covered as well. That's already doing that. Break-even lines, obviously, that's all been explained. The candle timer, you can also choose the corner that appears in. And with the break-even line, you can choose the corner that appears in as well. If I find one that's actually got. Am I in? Euro Swiss. Yeah, so this down here, the little pip counter, that now updates. Please tick and update. There you go. So that updates. Well, it was broken again. So that updates live, shows you your distance to break even. You've got your candle timer down there. You've got the text up there. They can all be interchanged into any corner you like, and you can set the offset distances so that you can have it all in one corner if you want and do all sorts of stuff with it. There we go. So I fixed it all. That took hours. Morning, Nuno. Evening, afternoon, even. Surridge, afternoon. Virginia. You fixed the slot machine? Yep. Afternoon, Kennelly. God, needle in a haystack. Absolute needle in a haystack. Coding as Diamond, if he's in here, yes he is, will profess to. One semicolon or comma out of place and it all breaks. And when you've got everything working but one thing that was working previously, that needle becomes even more hidden. It's a pain in the ass. But anyway, it's fixed. So I've got a couple of bits I want to do on it, but it's all up on the marketplace, ready to go. It's all been verified by MQL5, but I've got some other bits and pieces I want to tweak on it. So anyway, there we go. So Dow this afternoon. I'm not going to trade the Dow this afternoon because I don't want to jeopardize my accounts. So I'm doing pretty well on this EA. On day 4, I'm up to 4.08%. So I'm nearly halfway to passing, basically. If these trades all kick in, that'll be another 3% or so there. So I don't really want to try and scalp and risk having a bad session. So I'm going to leave that just to run because that's just trading ADR reversals and doing very well. So this morning, ADR reversals banked so far today 0.25%, sitting in 0.73. So that's up to 11.3 this month now. H1M5 is in 3.5% drawdown, banked 0.5% up to 11.8. H1 has done some drawdown control today. We are about to bank though. So done 0.6% drawdown Aussie New Zealand is looking like that's going to bank. New Zealand Swiss might bank today as well. And if we get some more strength in this yen, because the yen's doing very nicely at the moment, we might get pound yen banked as well. So there's a good chance of doing 1.5%. So that'll be a 1% gain today. We'll see what happens this afternoon in New York. And the hedging set file sitting in 9% drawdown, banked 0.2%. Woohoo! Today. You do. So yeah, there you go. So that's what's been banked today so far. Afternoon baggy. So Dow at the moment, looking at where we are, we're right in the middle of kind of nowhere on the hideous mission to nowhere at the minute. We are obviously very bullish at the moment. All these propulsion gap targets to the downside, it looks like we are stalling out. So this is last Thursday. Friday, we made a new high and then made a new, then pulled back, basically. So that was a shooting star, basically. Next day, we went completely sideways on Monday. We popped our head up, did a stop run, came back down again yesterday, and today we've gone nowhere. So we've stalled out now, basically, for pretty much a week. So there is a potential that this is going to roll over now and start a pullback on profit take on this move. So we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of downside targets on this at the moment. The price action is, as you can see, very strong when it wants to go, but it's struggling to get started a lot of the time. So the difference today to previous days is we're kind of starting New York on a sort of a triple bottom attempt. So if we get that triple bottom gone, I think there's a good chance of getting an ADR hit today and coming back down to test this area. So we've got this area at the top. We've got this area here to come and challenge. Apart from that, all the other targets are absolutely miles away to the downside. So I quite fancy a short on it today, but we will see what happens at the open. All the other indices, very much the same. At the moment, as you can see, we're on 1, 2, 3, 3-ish, 4 days sideways. Nothing's going anywhere. So market is sort of fluctuating at the moment, just in an accumulation. Yens today, looking at the ADRs. Oil hit ADR. Let's do oil first. So we covered this one this morning. I'm looking for that short down to the gap fill. And remember, I said this morning, what I'm looking for initially is a challenge of this low. And that's exactly what we've been given, 125 ADR, and we've bounced beautifully off of that low. So what I was looking for was that break back down, which is where I said to go short on Monday. Yesterday, we just accumulated. Today, we've now broken that low down to there. And this is where I was looking for the bounce, which we are doing. So where we are right now, as you can see, we've come off pretty much to the pip on that initial gap up support. We've broken the range low support, and now we're hovering in here. So a little bit of a push back up into propulsion. And I think that's basically what we're going to be looking at. So it's a bit uneven, but that pull back, drop, break that level, do the gap fill. Or this is the support, range low, and we're not going to bother with the gap fill. And now we're going to fly back up to test those highs, which is 250 ADR. So those are the two plays on oil, but it's come down very, very nicely today. ADRs, apart from that, we've got euro, pound, pound yen, and US dollar CAD. Market's just opened. 5-minute opening range on the Dow is long. Woohoo! Damn, why the hell didn't I take it this morning? Typical, isn't it? The one I don't take is the one that flies. There's your risk reward on that one. So instant 1R on that 5-minute candle. There's your 1.5 hour target. See where that goes. US dollar CAD, ADR hit to the upside. I am hedged on this now. this thing. So there's your RSI extension on the hourly. We've got an ADR hit on the hourly as well. So I've got multiple positions on this now. I've got 3 buys on. So basically, we've pushed up into my average. So my average is working beautifully as a resistance. And obviously, we've just had an RSI extension and reversal alert today. So I'm short. So what I would love to see today is a pullback of 0.5%, 34 pips from there. So somewhere down into the support rectangle, which will get me out of that short, and then a lovely bounce back up into that propulsion gap, and then I can exit all of these longs. That would be awesome. So that's an ADR hit, basically. So ADR, whoops. There's your reversal alert. Shorting 34 pips is my target, which is half an ADR. Oh, sorry, no, third of an ADR. It would be if this is an ADR. I'm taking this as an H1M5, but if you're taking it as an ADR, up to you what you target, but a third, somewhere between a third to a half. So 34 pips is basically this propulsion gap. Oh, look at that. Isn't that good? So if you do hedge, it'll also tell you when your hedge is break even. Good, eh? Good, eh? Like that. Pound yen. ADR to the downside. Sorry, to the upside. So this was the ADR hit to the upside. Already out of this one if you're short. Most people, if they got in short on this on ADR, are probably already out of that. That's done and dusted. And the euro pound. So there was your ADR 125. Haven't got a reversal alert on this yet. So this is one we looked at this morning, and we said you're going to need to take a price action signal on this because that's far too far away. So I think when we were looking at this, this was looking like it was a bit bullish, wasn't it? So if you did take a price action signal from that spinning top, that would have been your entry. We haven't invalidated that at all. So that would have been your trade, but not a reverse alert. So a bit of a tricky one to get into euro pound today. So there you go. There's your ADRs. There's a few RSIs to look at. Let's just keep up with the Dow. So Dow's just retraced. This is your 5-minute opening range going in now. We've got 1 minute left on this candle. So you've got a 1R hit to the upside. So if you are using a sort of 100, 110% trailing stop like I usually do, you would have got stopped out at break even pretty much on that and gone short if you're taking the pre-market, that is. It's a bit whippy today, isn't it? Right. RSIs, let's have a quick look at what the NASDAQ's up to. Jeez. Okay, the NASDAQ's not messing about today, is it? Very big divergence on the two. So the NASDAQ, oh, look at that. That's the opening range you wanted, wasn't it? This morning. Is Outro in here? He's not, is he? It's a nice one this morning, this afternoon. So there's your 5-minute ORB. You would have had your stop beyond that low. So that is a 4R. The 5-minute opening range. If you took the 15-minute open, pre-market this is, obviously, that's still a 1.5R return. So NASDAQ was the one today. The Dow is breaking to the downside now. So there's your 5-minute opening range. So regardless of whether you're pre-market or you're on the 5-minute open, you are short. We should catch up on the chat. Afternoon, Crom. Afternoon, Prab. Please give an overview on the pound US dollar. I will when my terminal wakes up. We seem to have gone into frozen mode. Ooh. Okay. There we go. Coming back to life now. There's pound US dollar. So pound US dollar at the moment is in the middle of nowhere. Does that come back? There we go. So yeah, so at the moment we're in the middle of nowhere. There was a potential short on it. Wasn't very extended, but there was a little bit of a short on it this morning. ADR pound CAD. Quick look at that one while the ADR's there. So I'm short on this already at the moment, and that's your ADR hit to the upside. Beautiful targets to the upside. We're heading up at the moment into this area. There's no real upside targets on this on the hourly. We've just done that one basically. So nice ADR reversal. Next resistance is 200 ADR. Failing that, 225 ADR. Failing that, just above there. Failing that, the monthly, which is up there. So there is a good chance we're going to get some strength in this pound, but it will mean revert. So there is your 5-minute reversal alert. That'll be your entry short. Target, I would say, is to come back down and take that low. Right, pound US dollar. So yeah, we're just stuck in the middle of nowhere at the moment, waiting for the unemployment figures. So propulsion gaps targets to the downside, multiples. We've got this one to the upside. Virtually done that. If you look at it, it's actually filled the vast majority of that. So I would say that's probably fairly efficiently traded. However, we'll probably come up and take that liquidity at some point. So right now, bang in the middle of nowhere. One way or the other, up or down, don't know. I prefer it short, and only because I think we're going to get decent unemployment figures tomorrow. So we'll be looking at the unemployment 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, half an hour before market open. That is where I would expect to see some movement on the US dollar. Hopefully we're going to get decent figures there, and we'll obviously get some strength in the US and push down. But right now it's just sitting in the middle of nowhere. So not really a lot you can do with that at the moment. Dow is out the downside. I would imagine the NASDAQ's pulling back. So NASDAQ's just filled all those gaps, basically. Tricky open today again. Well, opens aren't tricky. Mohammed, just installed the market reversal alert EA onto my MT4 and followed everything, but no entry yet on M5 charts EU since this morning with the set file in the website. So what makes you think you should have had an entry? What makes you think there should have been an entry on Euro US dollar? I don't know which set file you're using, but there for any of the set files that I personally use, there hasn't been any signals on this today, because the hourly RSI is. It depends if you've got what have you got your RSI filter set to, 70 or 75? Sorry, 30 or 25. Because mine's set to 25, so that wouldn't have been an entry for me, or it wasn't an entry for me, as you can see. What makes you think it should have traded? There's no ADRs, there's no RSI extensions, possibly an RSI extension. Don't know how you got it set up. But, make sure it should have traded. But Telegram, if you want help, go in the Telegram group. You can DM me your set file and I'll have a look at it. Afternoon, Dureska. Baggy, when you position trade, can you give an explanation why you scale out? As I've been scaling out, but I don't do a third but smaller, and it seems to work better for me. Why do you do a third? Just to keep on top of drawdown, really. You can do smaller, up to you. Your drawdown control is going to be down to your personal comfort levels, basically. So what I would say is the more pairs you run the strategy on, the faster and harder you need to be on your drawdown, because the more exposure you have, the quicker you're going to need to get out of those trades when they go against you. So if you're only getting into 1 or 2 entries per instrument, as you should be, you can do drawdown control a lot slower. This particular account, the EA is set up to do aggressive drawdown, not aggressive drawdown control, but do drawdown control quickly because it's trading every instrument. So it obviously gets overexposed. There's no right or wrong. I like a third because the way that I'm set up with the set files that I've put out in the Telegram group is when it moves an ADR against you, that's when you start to get out. So if you think about it, a whole ADR of movement based on when you get in, right? So when you get in to your initial trade, by definition, price will have been pushing up quite hard because you're only going to get in when there's an RSI extension, yeah? Which means that RSI has got pushed up, which means that the market has moved hard in one direction. So if you've pushed hard in one direction and had a reversal alert and got in short, as you have here, for example, the chances are, if it pushes a whole ADR against you, something's quite strong, because with the vast majority of our trades, we get out within 1 or 2 positions. So the idea behind getting out with a third is that it brings your average a lot closer, a lot faster. You see this trade here, entry, second entry, exit, really easy. So if you get out with 1 ADR and a third of the position, what it means is all the market has to do is push down back to your original position that you got in, and that gives you an exit. If you scaled out slower or with less, the market would have to move beyond your initial position to get you out. Yeah. But again, there isn't a right or wrong. In this case, if I hadn't have done that drawdown control at all, the average probably would have been somewhere around, I don't know, wherever. Sorry, that entry there, that entry there. Sorry, that entry there. The average would have been somewhere around maybe there instead of there. I don't know. But it would have pushed down much further. So it doesn't matter. There's no personal, it's personal preference. There really is no answer that is right or wrong for it. But if you're doing smaller, what you will find is when you get into one of those positions which goes 6 ADR against you, and you've got into 5 positions, for example, or 6 positions maybe, when you get into a bit of a squeeze, you'll be in a hell of a lot more drawdown than I will. You'll learn after a while that the faster you get out, the more comfortable you are. You're going to make less money, but you'll be more comfortable. So a lot of people are more aggressive and have a bigger drawdown threshold, and those people don't do drawdown control at all. I never used to do drawdown control along the way. I used to just wait and do aggressive drawdown control, and I used to get in lots of pain. And I'm getting too old now. I can't be bothered with pain. So I just do it easy as I go. Afternoon, Luke. Afternoon, James. Pound CAD. Look at pound CAD. I'm going to look at the RSIs as well in a sec. Dow is out the lows on the 5-minute. This is your 15-minute going in now in this propulsion gap. So there's your 15-minute opening range. That's a biggie as well. So your 5 or 15 pre-market entry was there. And you've got 1.5 hour, I'd imagine, pretty much on that. Wrong way. Not quite. There's 1.5 hour. So that's target on the opening range break to the low. So the opening range break to the high would have stopped you out at break even. The opening range break to the low almost hit 1.5 hour. So would have been a good Dow this afternoon. The NASDAQ, if you took the NASDAQ, you killed it. Pre-market. Why didn't I take them? Pound CAD. It's typical. It's because I had a bad day this morning with DAX. Should have just done it, but I didn't. Pound CAD. So pound CAD's going nowhere at the minute. I'm short at the moment on the RSI extension. One entry there, looking for a push down. Obviously, the pound is pushing at the moment based on the CPI figures this morning. So resistance is up here. You've got a sort of earlier resistance from Thursday last week, but that zone basically is where you'll be looking at for the next potential big strong bounce. But hopefully we'll come down and do this and this first. So at the moment it's a nice ADR extension, entry there, look for a play back down into there, and yeah, it's a short at the moment because it's extended, but obviously the pound has got potential to rally. So yeah, just before we go on, news. So we've had two bits of important news this morning. Obviously we had the interest rates, the inflation figures for the pound. The rate going up to 5% by November is pretty obvious. I didn't think for any second that we wouldn't get to 5%, but they're now calling it by November. So 0.25 was our last increase. So we dropped our increase down. Our inflation has not gone down to where we wanted it to be. So the interest rates are definitely going up. What we've had said this morning, we had CPI for the Eurozone as well, which came out as expected. What we've had this morning is speculation. Where the hell's that gone? Oh, yeah. Morgan Stanley now expects the Bank of England to deliver a quarter of a rate hike in May versus no hike. Some people were already forecasting a 0.25, me included. I was expecting them to do another 0.25% in May. Some of them were saying there's a possibility that we may stay where we are. Morgan Stanley have now come up and changed their forecast to a 0.25 as well. So I got a feeling that this could well be a 0.5. This is bad, really bad. Yeah. So what we were expecting was it to get down below 10%. We didn't get down below 10%. So with all these hikes we've been doing, inflation still went up on forecast. It actually came down, but it only came down by a very small margin. It didn't come down by what the Bank of England were forecasting. So that puts more pressure on them to increase interest rates. They need to do it faster. It's the worst inflation that we've got anywhere in the world at the moment. So we need to basically get that up. So 0.25 is a definite. So that's coming up to 4.5, possible 4.75 in May. We'll see. But basically what that means is the pound is obviously going to potentially strengthen up for a few weeks while they start to price in that price increase. So I don't think we're going to go into a massive squeeze on the pound, but I think we'll see some continued strength on it. So we'll be reliant on the other pairs to basically push them back down. It's not going to be strong enough, I don't think, to squeeze, but we need to be aware that it probably is a little bit more of a long than not. The other important news we've had out is this. Bank of Japan, we are wary of tweaking yield control in April. So we had a bit of a rally off of the yen on that. Not particularly dramatic, but we did get some decent movement to the downside, as you can see on the yen pairs. So possibly we just had a reversal on quite a few of these now. So there's a possibility of we are going to start a little bit of a rally on the yen. New Zealand's flying, look. New Zealand's really flying. So yeah, so that basically is potential for some strength in the yen. They've been talking a little bit, and I said yesterday, didn't I? We've seen a few little bits and pieces now starting to come out. They're getting a bit worried about the 2-week lull we've had in any yen strength. So there's a good chance that they will start to manipulate it. Probably not do a big manipulation on it like they've done in the past, but we should see some strength coming through. The New Zealand dollar is moving at the moment off the back of the CPI data, which is coming out this evening. So the market is pricing in, by the looks of things, positive CPI results. We're forecasting 1.5. It looks like they're factoring in an increase because the New Zealand dollar is rallying this afternoon. So they're just getting themselves either into or out of positions ahead of that release that's coming out this evening. If that release comes out as negative and they've started to price a rise in, we'll probably get a big tank on that overnight. So we'll see what happens with that one. But propulsion gap target's up here to sort out. If we can get up to there by this evening, that opens up the door for a drop off of the back of that, and then some strength on the US dollar to really tank that tomorrow. So all these New Zealands, I've got shorts on. I've got buy on this one. New Zealand US is a buy. New Zealand yen is a short. So lots of bits and pieces of news at the moment. There's your 1.5 hour on the Dow. So if you took the pre-market 5 or 15 opening range, you've hit target on that one. Good job. Right, there you go. There's news covered. Okay, did not change anything on the settings. No, I understand. Okay. Afternoon, Neo. Can you explain why you prefer MT425? Only because of the updates or other issues? It's just better all round, in my opinion. The only thing that is better for MT5 is the backtester, in the fact that you can backtest multiple pairs at once, but the backtesting facility in MT5 is more restrictive to the data that you can use, and I prefer to choose my own data source rather than the data source that they provide. So there's pluses and minuses to the backtester, but MT5 is much more graphic heavy, much more CPU heavy. There's not as many indicators available for it. It takes longer to update charts. It's just not as nice. The reason they released MT5 was because they wanted to enter the futures market, and the futures market basically turned around and went, that's a load of crap. We've got much better software than this, and they didn't bother to adopt it. So MetaTrader or MQL basically got dumped with two products which were exactly the same with a slight variation on the graphical user interface and the backtester. So therefore, nobody adopted MT5. There you go. And every indicator under the sun is available for MT4, and they're not all available for MT5. That's why people don't use it as much. But there's still a lot of people using it. A lot of prop firms don't support it. Some prop firms only support MT5. So it swings and roundabouts. But as you put so much emphasis in position trading on small trade size and good trade risk management, does it really matter when you enter a trade? Could it literally be random? Yes, it could. You could enter random if you wanted to. However, you've got to have some kind of analysis. So you need a reason for the market to go your way faster. So if I didn't use RSI extensions, all I would find is that I could get in. Let's say, for example, let's say it's random, yeah? Pound yen. So let's say, for example, I'm going to get in a completely random trade and I'm going to go long on the pound yen now. Yeah, that could well play out, but there is a lot more probability of a profit take move happening on this than there is of another leg, in my opinion, just because of the strength of movement on this and the fact that we know that the market will need to pull back. So it's all about timing. You've got to have a reason to get in. However you do that reasoning and however you do that analysis is up to you. As long as it's a mean reversion based strategy and not a breakout strategy, you can position trade anything, any reason. You don't need to use market reversal or anything. You could use Bollinger Bands, you could use MACD, anything that oscillates to give you some kind of market structure that has a mean reversion aspect to it. You can trade absolutely anything. You don't have to. I just give you, in the bootcamp, I give the way that I do it. The way that I do it is based on 15 years of trying stuff and figuring out what has more success than others. As you can see on this chart, as an example, it doesn't matter how successful something is in history or what the strike rate of anything is. If you get into it, there's a good chance it's going to go the opposite direction. before it gets to your target. So you pick whatever you think is good. There is no right or wrong in anything to do with trading. It's just probabilities and risk. You could basically flip a coin. Not that one. That's gold. Damn. I've gone too early on gold. You could flip a coin, basically, and literally go long or short. We've done it in here, actually, John, quite a few times. I've come in here over the years and said, someone pick a pair, someone pick a time frame, someone pick a direction. I've hit the button. We've come back to it in the next session and gone, there you go, made money. So if you go long or short right now on the pound yen, there's a 50-50 shot of this either going there or there. I don't know which way it's going, but if you tell me to go short now, I can hit the short button. And I'll either be tomorrow morning exited that position, or tomorrow morning I'll have taken a second position and exited that position. One way or the other, there's a high probability I'll have exited the position. But I don't know which way it's going to go. So how you pick direction. A lot of people are trading on low time frames, position trading as well, which I find just dangerous. But you can do, and I've tried it, and I've done it absolutely beautifully. I've passed evaluations in a day, position trading, but I wouldn't be able to sustain it because there's a very high element of luck in it, obviously, as with everything. So we just pulled back into propulsion. They're starting to reject the highs. So it looks like a good short at the moment on the Dow. NASDAQ is rejecting the highs as well. So potential challenge on those lows on the cards as well. We are in a propulsion gap though, so this might be a buy back up to there. One or the other. It's always good, isn't it? I always know exactly what is going to happen with a 50% probability. It's brilliant. I call it virtually every time. It's either going to do that or it's going to do that. It's amazing, the accuracy. It's just uncanny, isn't it? Daniel, gold is, well, it was a short. So we've hit 125 ADR straight down to that propulsion. If you remember what I said this morning, funnily enough, what did I say this morning? Go back and watch the live room. There, wasn't it? I said, we're either going to do that or that. And I remember I said, do you remember I said, it's either going to do 150 ADR to the downside or 150 ADR to the upside. Do you remember? Because it's either going to come back up here or it's going to come down here. So we've done 125. So now it's either going to do that or it's going to do that. I'm not very helpful, am I? Really? Think about it. Utterly useless. But I do get it right all the time. RSIs. So US dollar CAD, we haven't got many to look at. Might be a short one this afternoon. Hourlies, US dollar CAD, we've got an extension to the upside. As I said, I've just shorted that. And I am also long. So I don't really care what happens with this now. So I've taken a short up there with a view to it coming back down into this propulsion. Ideally coming to test that. That gets me out of my short. If it pushes up, I'll get out of my long up there. And then obviously I would deal with the short opportunity when we come back up into either there or there. And get out the short when it comes back down again. So the minute New Zealand dollar CAD is also extended and pound CAD is also extended now. So US dollar CAD, Euro CAD and pound CAD, all good. So mean reversion opportunity there. The M5 reversal has just triggered. There's your entry. We also retested it. And we're pushing up a little bit at the moment. So still potential for that one to drop. 150 ADR on oil. Pound CAD, hourly, RSI extension to the upside. We know about this one. This is an ADR hit as well. We've already looked at this based on ADR, but it is also extended there. So you had your entry yesterday on that one. I'm in short. Sorry, not yesterday, this morning from that one there. It's pushed up higher, invalidated that high. So next reversal alert, if you're not in it, you can get in and try and go for that gap fill or down to there. I will need to wait until we get to somewhere around about there for my next entry short. So I just want to quickly try something. Does work. But I just want to quickly change something. Right. What was I talking about? Pound CAD, yeah. So pound CAD, good short opportunity. That's still pushing quite hard. So your reversal alert is there. Target down there, 58 pips. That's over half an ADR. So when this does start to come down, that'd be good short. Good move on oil. Yeah, another push down, 150 ADR. So there you go. We're out the lows. So there's that low broken now. So the gap fill is in play. So yeah, that's the trade I've got on the other evaluation account at the moment. Short down to there. Good trade. There we go. So I said to get into this one, yeah, on Monday on that break. And obviously stop above the high or that high and target that gap. So the initial trade idea was somewhere in the region of it was that low there to break. So the original trade idea was something like 2.5R short from there down to the gap fill with a stop up there, or stop above that high and a 2R short. So playing out nicely, the gap fill. Once that gap fill's done, I would look to flip long and go up to $95 a barrel. Nice. 4-hour RSI extensions, pound yen. 4-hour extended to the upside. So a nice extension. That's already rolling over. I've got shorts on this one already. So M15 entry was literally just there. M5, I think you had a tighter one this morning. Yeah, up there. So there's your 5-minute reversal alert. That was your entry this morning. Then we came and retested. You probably would have been out of this, I would imagine, if that was your first entry. 72 pips. Yeah, it's well over half an ADR. So easy short that was this morning. And the euro yen is the other one. That was an ADR hit as well, that pound yen. So that was an ADR reversal too. Euro yen. 4-hour, nice bearish engulfing gone in there. We're just pulling back up again at the moment. So that is a retest on the lower time frame. When the chart catches up, so you'll have your M pattern in there. Oh God, come on. Why take so long? I say MT4 is better than MT5. Normally it is. This is just my platform. I've just got a data. I need to basically have a purge, basically, of this MT4 and just install a new install and tidy it all up. It's getting old. It's like Windows MT4. It gets a bit clogged up every now and again, and you just have to go, nah, just going to reinstall Windows. This isn't a gap. Anyway, euro yen, you've had the reverse alert. It's all looking good for shorts at the moment. So that's it. That's all the extensions. Afternoon wealth tour. Anybody got any other pairs they want to look at or anything else they want to investigate? GU on a mission? Yeah, we've got the pound. I was just going to say the US dollar at the moment looks like it's starting to struggle a little bit, leading into the unemployment figures. So, God, this terminal's shot. Just banked a little bit more on the hedging set file. 1.2% closed now on H1M5, so that's up to 12.5%. Shut that down. 5-minute chart that's having a problem updating for some reason. I don't quite know why. 125 on pound CAD, even more extended. So the pound is still rallying. Look. Thanks for the follow. The Robloxian 182. Somebody plays Roblox. Terminal frozen up again or something. He's still trading. Yeah, so I mean the pound is still obviously rallying. So I would expect it to on those CPI figures, because obviously we have got a verification now that we're going to have another interest rate rise. So we should be getting a big strong push on the pound temporarily, but obviously with the US dollar looking a little bit weak at the moment as well, that's obviously going to help the pound US dollar get that little bit further today. Euro yen I've already covered. Literally just covered that, didn't I? So with the US dollar weakening, wouldn't we expect the Dow to push up? Yes. And the NASDAQ. So we are coming out of that propulsion gap at the moment. Looking bullish. So these both look like good longs. Just done some drawdown control, I think. Yeah. Pound CAD. James, what happens to your EAs when you do a clean install of MT4? Do you have to do anything special to get them reinstalled? No, just download them, basically. Just re-download them from the marketplace. I mean, you don't need to do it on if you're running EAs, they run on a VPS, so it's only MT4. It's this basically when I'm using MT4 like I do here for analysis, I'm flicking between charts constantly, and I'm constantly installing indicators, flicking between different brokers on the terminal. So there's lots of stuff I'm mucking about with, basically, which MT4 basically just downloads new data and gets clogged up. On a VPS, I've got a VPS been running for a year and a half. I haven't touched the terminals on it. The signal that runs on the marketplace. Where's the signal there? So this one basically has been running for 80 weeks. I haven't touched that terminal since I installed the MT4, put the EA on it. I haven't touched it for 80 weeks. It's been running on that absolutely fine. Obviously, because I don't touch it. So basically, all the EA is doing, it's running all of those pairs, and it's literally just sitting there doing nothing but trading. So it doesn't flick time frames, it doesn't flick charts, it doesn't have any indicators on it. It literally is just running the EA. So you don't need to worry about VPSs and stuff. It's only the terminal you use. And this one's a good, year and a bit old now. It's only just started to play up in the last sort of month or so. And it's only every now and again. And it seems it's usually market open. And obviously I'm always streaming at market open. And that's when the most data's coming in. That's why it struggles. I'm picking pairs for H1 set file, hedge set file. Any advice? Presume all in both directions. Well, that's what's running here. This is the demo account that's running the hedging set file. This is running all of them. So you can see what sort of drawdown you can expect when it loads. Oh, there you go, done 0.6%. So yeah, this is kind of sitting between 5 to I think 13% we've got up to, something like that, maybe. It's banked 10%, 10.5%. So this is running all of them, all pairs, hedging on the hourly. There's no filters on this hedge file either. So the way you can improve this, and again, this is something that is probably worth a test, is you can use a filter on it. So just use the RSI filter on the current time frame. Yeah, so which is the hourly. Maybe use a 70-30 or a 68-28 maybe, or something on the 14 RSI, rather than a 75-25, which is kind of the little bit further push, just to give it that little bit of extra confidence to get into the initial trade. Because at the moment, it literally just hedges. So you could do it that way. And obviously, you're trading hedge files, hedging, obviously trades in both directions. So yeah. It's not my favorite strategy though, hedging, just because of the drawdown. As I say, I'm just getting a little bit of more of a drawdown phobe these days. So the hedging set file will make you a decent amount of money. I think it's made, I haven't got the all time turned on that. Oh, this is an old account, isn't it? When did it start trading? Yeah, this was the old, this is the one that was doing the testing. So we started trading. Me. Back here. There you go. So that's where I closed them all out. So 13th. So we want to start from the 14th, don't we? Of March. Are you going to update? So it's done 26 grand, 26%. That's the max. Pretty much where we are now is max DD, about 12%. So 26% return for 10% drawdown roughly so far. I would expect this to double the account in 6 months. It's just a case of what drawdown it goes into to double the account. So obviously it's doing drawdown control along the way, and we haven't had any squeezes yet. And this is partly why I'm running this as an experiment at the moment. I want to see what happens in a squeeze. I wouldn't really class this Swiss yen here as a squeeze at the moment. It's not. It's in 6 positions. It's getting on for a squeeze, I would say. So if you look at the Swiss yen, Probably won't be able to go back far enough to see it all, but so there you go. So there's where it got in to that trade. So it probably is a squeeze, actually. What's ADR on this? 112. Yeah, so that's nearly 7 ADR. Nearly 7 ADR that's pushed against. You can see it's done loads of drawdown control along the way. It's scaling out all the way through the push. And it's sitting in 1.7%. I get uncomfortable at about 3. So that's within my comfort levels, 6 ADR. And that is from the 28th of March. So a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, it's been in that. But as soon as that yen, we get any strength on that yen, that's coming straight back into profit and over there. But you can see it's banking very, very regularly. So, but you will experience higher drawdown with it. So it's not for prop. You could use it for prop. And if you have a lovely range bound couple of weeks or week, depending on what you're doing, this will pass prop very easily. But like everything, it's all down to when you start the evaluation, isn't it? So, but for your own personal account, it's yeah, it's a good one. But that is running on every set file. So if you every instrument. So if you want to keep on top of your exposure, only put it so that it will get exposed maybe on 3 currencies. So I would say go 3 currencies max. So 3 US dollar pairs, 3 pound pairs, 3 Aussie, 3 New Zealand, 3 euro, 3 yen, 3 Swiss as a maximum, so that you can't get more than 3 in one direction, because obviously what you'll get is you'll get 2 in one direction and 1 going the other way. So one of them will bank as the other 2 going to drawdown. So I'm trying to use my arms around my microphone. It's not working. Yeah. That's what I would recommend, Daniel. Afternoon, Tarmo. Why do you always come in late? You're always late, aren't you? You missed the first sort of hour. Sorry, I was just doing something in Telegram. I've heard that you can delete the old log files in the data folders to speed up MT4 and reduce the number of bars displayed. I mean the files in the log folders. You can. It doesn't really make a massive difference, I've found. So, sorry, I work in a warehouse 6 till 2. That's okay. I'll let you off, Tarmo. You can always watch the replay. Don't forget. Yeah, there's always things you can do. The trouble with speeding up, and it's the same as Windows, isn't it? When Windows starts to slow down, what you do is you basically go onto Google and you go, why is my Windows slow? And there's loads of stuff they give you as recommendations. So you try all of it and none of it ever works. You get a bit of software which either releases malware onto your computer or doesn't, which is meant to clean up your registry and do all this, that, and the other. If you just reinstall Windows, it instantly fixes the problem. It's the same with MetaTrader. Just install, done. I say that, I'm not doing it, but it's because I can't be bothered. Because 90% of the time it works absolutely fine. It's just every now and again it has a little hiccup. So, but yeah, the log folders, you can sort that out. Right, that's all we've got at the moment for looking at stuff. So I'm not going to go through all the pairs. There's no changes to the bias scorecard. Someone DM'd me in Telegram as well and said, why are you not paying any attention to the retail sentiment? It's just because I've lost interest. I haven't lost interest in it, but I'm just not paying much attention to it at the moment because I'm just ticking along very nicely with my bread and butter mean reversion strategies. But if you want to trade against retail, obviously it does work very well still. There's only longs today, no shorts. So euro yen, look at that, long. Certainly is. So yeah, I just haven't been focusing on it in the live rooms because I was developing a sentiment EA to trade this, and I've just got sidetracked and lost focus on the sentiment EA. So I am going to pick the sentiment EA back up. I know what I want to do with it. I know how I want it to trade sentiment. I've just got to kind of rebuild what I was doing. So it is still, you know, it's great as long as you stay in line with the fundamentals and stay in line with COT and stay in line with against retail. It works really well. I just haven't been focusing on here really. So that's all. But what I was going to say about the fundamentals, there's no changes on fundamentals with any of the news that we've had today. The CPI figures for New Zealand, the current inflation figures for New Zealand are 7.2. We had no inflation change last time, so there will possibly be a change in the buyer scorecard tomorrow because this differential basically will probably change. So if we get a flat, that won't change anything. There is a possibility that this will then suddenly become different to the Aussie or the Euro because those are the closest partners to it. So we're likely to not go up or down more than sort of 0.5% really on inflation change. So when you're looking at the buyer scorecard, you need to look at things that are close to roughly 0.5% from where that currently is, because it could tip these over from longs to shorts against the New Zealand dollar. And obviously the differential will change because there is no differential at the moment on the New Zealand dollar. So, so yeah, basically we just need to pay attention to this one tomorrow. There will be a potential change in directional bias for the New Zealand dollar. So looking at the current scorecard, there's still nothing that is a massive buy or massive sell. Aussie US is the strongest sell at the moment, and the Swiss yen is the strongest buy at the moment. Has been for a while. Obviously, we can see that because Swiss yen's been going through the roof. So yeah, so and US dollar CAD obviously is the other big strong buy at the moment. That's got the potential to go up to a +10, which is a real strong buy. So, but that will all potentially change tomorrow off of the unemployment claims as well. Not an unemployment rate, but the unemployment claims will forecast what the unemployment rate will be. So we'll get some possible movement on the US dollar tomorrow as well. So, but that's really all I've got for you today. Everything is just ticking along as usual. So waiting for stuff to happen. That's annoying. Need to normalize that. So if anybody got anything else they want to look at, any other pairs or anything else other than that, I'll let you go because I've got nothing else to discuss today. We had a long rant this morning about gambling and prop firms and all sorts of stuff, didn't we? So we've kind of rambled everything today. I'm all rambled out. And I'm not here on Friday. So tomorrow is the last live stream until Tuesday next week because I'm off for a long weekend. So I'll be here tomorrow morning, 7:50, and I'll be back tomorrow afternoon, 2:20 for the New York session as usual. But other than that, I'm not here on Friday or not here on Monday. I'll be off gallivanting, spending my money, which is always good. And if anybody's got anything else they would like to see in this indicator, it's basically obviously the main template, but the support and resistance is the main thing that I've focused on, and the propulsion gap changes so that it's more visible, the propulsion gaps and support resistance levels. So if there's anything else anybody wants in this before I push it out that they think might be useful, let me know in Telegram. But other than that, I'm pretty much ready to get this out. I think I just want to get the days of the week sorted and then go from there. Thanks for the follow, Kelvin. Welcome aboard. We've got 71 people. Let's have a thumbs up before we go. Help the stream and all that malarkey. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell. God, I sound like a YouTuber. Watermark ticker symbol in the middle of the chart. No. Why do you want that? It's just a mess. You've got this up the top, look. What more do you want? Watermarks are terrible. They just make the chart look a mess. I don't know why you would want that. But can you? I've increased the size of this for you, Virginia. So surely you can see that now. I've made it 20. You can't miss it. Can't miss it now. It's huge, isn't it? Sometimes when you scroll, the ticker disappears. You said that this morning. I don't understand what you mean by scroll, right? This is fixed in place here. This doesn't move at all, ever. Look, if I scroll through the chart, right, that never moves. That never moves. This, look. Right? It doesn't matter what I do on this chart. That stays exactly the same place. I don't understand why you think that moves. Zoom? Yeah, if I zoom in and out, it's, look, never changes, never has, never will. It's fixed in that corner. If I do that, it just goes over in that corner. It never moves. I promise. Go and watch live streams. You'll have to do a little snippet of what you think, what you mean by it. It disappears because it doesn't. Afternoon, Seymour. Euro yen to 147,581. Yeah, that's just into that propulsion gap. And Brian, Ed 209 shooting candlesticks as they paint would be awesome. I can try that. Yeah, I'm not sure you can do animation in MT4. I'll flag it up next time it happens. You're going to have to flag it up. No one else has mentioned this. Like, look, it doesn't do anything. I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't. This never has moved, ever. It can't move. Look, even if I move the chart over there, there's just no way of moving this. It's a piece of fixed. I can do that, right? That I can do, but I can't move it. It can't move. It's a fixed. It's anchored to the corner. They're trolling me. I know they're probably trolling me. I think it happens when we look at more than one chart. There you go. There's another one. Look, same with this one. Doesn't move. That's stuck in that corner. That's stuck in that corner. If I go through that chart, zoom in, zoom out, nothing changes, look. It never has. I've been doing this for 15 years with this bit of software. I've used this indicator for probably the last 7-8 years. It's never moved. Try 3, another chart. It just, I don't know what you're talking about. It can't move. It's fixed. Literally, there's no way of moving it. This is the VPS, right? This is my VPS. Is this what you're talking about? Because this doesn't have that indicator on it. This is just the VPS, right? So this doesn't have it. Is that what you mean? I think I'm understanding now what you mean. Is this is a different computer in a different country running my EAs. This is not an analysis tool. This is for running the trades. So yes, this doesn't have it on there. But I don't do any analysis on that. I do all my analysis on here, don't I? I think that's what it is. I'm glad we got to the bottom of it because I thought I was going mad. Try 23. I could try 23 charts. I'm pretty sure I know what would happen. There we go. We've got to the bottom of it. I'm not going to stick it on the VPS. I can't. It's just all I'm doing with the VPS is showing you what the EA is up to. That's it. Don't use it for any other reason. I have an odd one. Not getting any dotted lines between my open close trades in MT4. Depends how you're adding them. Right. So what you might have, Daniel, is an EA or an indicator that removes trend lines, because these are actually just trend lines. So if you double click on one of these, right click it, see it says trend line properties. This is a trend line. So what you might have is some kind of EA or indicator running on your terminal that removes any trend lines with a hash in them or something. It would be a hash. And then that will disappear. So when I take this trade history on chart, when I turn that to false, what that does is it de-initializes that part of the script, which draws trend lines that aren't highlighted, because I highlighted that one. That's why that did that. Normally it would. And then when you turn it back on, it redoes them. There you go. So it drew it back in. See? This new indicator will do all that for you. The EA is an EA is adding them. Not my EA. I don't know. Maybe that EA's design is told to get rid of them. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, if it's something to do with the EAs, it's probably got a part in there that says delete it or something. I don't know. I don't know. Not quite sure why that would happen, but the EAs don't. Oh yeah, so EAs don't plot automatically the trend lines necessarily. I don't know the answer to that one. But obviously, when you're doing analysis, you normally do analysis on a terminal that is not running the EAs. So you can use the new indicator. This one will plot all that for you. You have that set to true. It'll do it all. Right. The NASDAQ and the Dow have basically gone into flag mode. So I'd be watching for a break to the downside on those potentially. NASDAQ's just got into hideous mode. Look, this is exactly the same as this morning. So that was a lovely break off the pre-market, but since pre-market, look, we haven't even broken out the 15-minute range. We've had a little pop out the lows on the 15-minute range. That's it. So this thing's dead as a doornail today again. Unemployment figures tomorrow, so I suspect we're just sitting there waiting till tomorrow. So we'll see. When is the new indicator going to be released? It's pretty much done. Only MT4. I haven't even looked at MT5 yet. So it's only MT4. It's pretty much ready to go. I just want to try and get the days of the week in at the moment. So what I've got at the moment is I've separated the daily lines out. I've redone that indicator. I've rebuilt that indicator. But I want to get it into this one, so I'm just trying to reduce the load, just have one indicator that does everything that you can turn on and off. That's what I'm trying to get. So people can use it for whatever they want to use it for. But I'm struggling to get the daily lines into it and actually getting it working. So I might just leave them out and just run them separate. But yeah, I'm off on Friday and Monday, so I might try and get it out tomorrow if I get time. I've got to write a manual, do a video, all the usual. So I might not get a chance to do that, obviously, but I'll try and get it out if I can tomorrow, maybe. But it's up to you if you want it. I mean, most of these indicators obviously are available there. I've built a support and resistance indicator, and I've customized everything, in my opinion, to work better and look better with new versions of stuff. So it's up to you whether you want to get it or not. But it's just nice to have everything in one place, basically. Right, I will leave you there. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in the Telegram group. We've got no more news today, so it should be a pretty just normal session today. We shouldn't get any excitement until we get the CPI figures for the New Zealand dollar, but that's after the swaps tonight. So other than that, we've got low speaking tomorrow morning, so we're going to have pretty decent movement, I think, on the Asian pairs when we get up tomorrow. So we should have hopefully a bit more profit in the bank. Fingers crossed, everything's going the right way. So yeah, anything you need, let me know. I'll be in the Telegram group. Back tomorrow morning at 7:50 for the Frankfurt session, and then back for New York tomorrow afternoon at 2:20. And hopefully it's profitable afternoon. If not, unlucky. If so, well done. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.